अनादिकाल से हमने
अनंतानंत दुख पाए,
अनंतानंत दुख पाए
एवं पा रहे हैं,
एवं पा रहे हैं।
पाप करते करते,
पाप करते करते
अंतःकरण
अंतःकरण
इतना मलिन हो चुका है,
इतना मलिन हो चुका है
कि रसिकों द्वारा
कि रसिकों द्वारा
यह जानने पर भी
यह जानने पर भी
कि तुम अपनी भुजाओं को पसारे,
कि तुम अपनी भुजाओं को पसारे,
अपनी वात्सल्यमयी दृष्टि से
अपनी वात्सल्यमयी दृष्टि से
हमारी प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हो,
हमारी प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हो।
तुम्हारी शरण में नहीं आ पाता,
तुम्हारी शरण में नहीं आ पाता।
हे अशरण शरण,
हे अशरण शरण,
तुम्हारी कृपा के बिना,
तुम्हारी कृपा के बिना
तुम्हें कोई जान भी तो नहीं सकता,
तुम्हें कोई जान भी तो नहीं सकता।
ऐसी स्थिति में,
ऐसी स्थिति में
हे अकारण करुण,
हे अकारण करुण,
पतित पावन श्री कृष्ण,
पतित पावन श्री कृष्ण,
तुम अपनी अहेतुकी कृपा से ही,
तुम अपनी अहेतुकी कृपा से ही
हमको अपना लो,
हमको अपना लो।
हे करुणा सागर,
हे करुणा सागर,
हम भुक्ति मुक्ति आदि,
हम भुक्ति मुक्ति आदि
कुछ नहीं मांगते,
कुछ नहीं मांगते।
हमें तो केवल,
हमें तो केवल
तुम्हारे निष्काम प्रेम की ही,
तुम्हारे निष्काम प्रेम की ही
एकमात्र चाह है,
एकमात्र चाह है।
हे नाथ,
हे नाथ,
अपने विरध की ओर देखकर,
अपने विरध की ओर देखकर
इस अधम को निराश ना करो,
इस अधम को निराश ना करो।
हे जीवन धन,
हे जीवन धन,
अब बहुत हो चुका,
अब बहुत हो चुका,
अब तो तुम्हारे प्रेम के बिना,
अब तो तुम्हारे प्रेम के बिना
यह जीवन,
यह जीवन
मृत्यु से भी अधिक भयानक है,
मृत्यु से भी अधिक भयानक है।
अतएव
अतएव
प्रेम भिक्षाम देहि,
प्रेम भिक्षां देहि,
प्रेम भिक्षाम देहि,
प्रेम भिक्षां देहि,
प्रेम भिक्षाम देहि,
प्रेम भिक्षां देहि।
बोले साकेत बिहारी श्री राघवेंद्र सरकार की
जय।
वृंदावन बिहारी श्री यादवेंद्र सरकार की
जय।
श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की
जय।
जय
जय जय श्री राधे,
जय
जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे। Please stand for Aarti and our prayers. If you're not familiar with the words, you can turn to book number 1 in the starting pages. जयति जगद गुरु गुरुवर की, गाओ मिले आरती रसिकवर की, गाओ गाओ मिले आरती रसिकवर की। गुरुपद नखमणि चंद्रिका प्रकाश, जाके उर बसे तम नाश। जाके माथ नाथ तब हाथ करे वास। ताते होए माया मोह सब ही निराश। पावे गति मति रति राधावर की। गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। गाओ गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। अरे मन मूढ़ छाड़ नारी नर हाथ। गुरु बिनु ब्रह्म श्याम न देंगे साथ। कोमल कृपाल पड़े कृपा सिंधुनाथ। पाके इन्हें आज तू अनाथ हो सनाथ। इन्हीं के अधीन कृपा गिरिधर की। गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। गाओ गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। भक्ति योग रस अवतार अभिराम। करे निगमागम समन्वय ललाम। श्यामा श्याम नाम रूप लीला गुणधाम। बाट रहे प्रेम निष्काम बिनु दाम। हो रही सफल काया नारी नर की। गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। गाओ गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। ननी लाल लीला का सलोना सुविलास। छाया दिव्य दृष्टि बिच प्रेम का प्रकाश। वैसा ही विनोद वही मंच मृदुहास। करे बस बर बस उच्च अट्टहास। जय गो झूमी चले चाल वही नटवर की। गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। गाओ गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। जयति जगद गुरु गुरुवर की। गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। गाओ गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। मत प्रेयान राधिका प्रेयान। मधवो राधिका तस्मादपि गरीयान्यो। कृपालुर्मे जगद्गुरु। गुरुं भजति श्रीकृष्णः। श्रीकृष्णं भजते गुरु। सिद्धान्ततस्त्व भेदेऽपि। कृपालुर्मे गुरुर्महान्। यस्य साक्षात् भगवती ज्ञानदीपप्रदे गुरौ। मर्त्या सधी श्रुतं तस्य सर्वं कुञ्जरशौचवत्। एष वै भगवान् साक्षात् प्रधान पुरुष योगेश्वरः योगेश्वरैर्विमृग्यान्घ्रिर्लोकोऽयं मन्यते नरम्। यमुना निकटतटस्थित वृंदावन कानने महारम्ये कल्पद्रुमतल भूमौ चरणं चरणो परिस्थाप्य तिष्ठन्तं घननीलं स्वतेजसा भासयन्तमिह विश्वं पीताम्बरपरिधानं चन्दनकर्पूरलिप्तसर्वाङ्गम् आकर्णपूर्णनेत्रं कुण्डलयुगमण्डितश्रवणम् मन्दस्मितमुखकमलं सकौस्तुभोदार मणिहारं वलयाङ्गुलीयकाद्या नुज्ज्वलयन्तं स्वलङ्कारान् गलविलुलितवनमालं स्वतेजसा पास्तकलिकारं गुञ्जारवालिकलितं गुञ्जापुञ्जान्विते शिरसि भुञ्जानं सह गोपैः कुञ्जान्तर्वर्तिनं नमत। मंदार पुष्पवासित मंदानिल सेवित परानंदम मंदाकिनीयुतपदं नमत महानंददं महापुरुषं सुरभीकृतदिग्वलयं सुरभिशतैरावृतः परितः सुरभीतिक्षपणमहा सुरभीमं यादवं नमत। अशरण शरण महाप्रभो तुम स्वामी हम दास कीजय कृपा कृपालु मम दीजय गुरु सहवास। तुम दीनन रखवार हम अहंकार अवतार अस करु कृपा कृपालु अब दीन बनु सरकार। हाँ ऐसो हाँ पतित जो पतित न आप ही मान ऐसे पतित विचित्र को पावन करु तब जान। सब भिखारी जगत के जेतिक नाते दार दिव्य प्रेम आनंद के तुम एक साहूकार। धनी गुरुवर धाम निवास सुनो मन पुण्यन पुंज सो पाय बनी दीन प्रपन्न रहो गुरु के नित सेवा सोताही रिझाइए जो मन ते हरि को गुरु को सुमिरो रसना सो सदा गुण गाइए जो क्षण भंगुर जीवन जानी मना क्षण हो जनी व्यर्थ गवाइए जो सब धामन वारो वृंदावन पे और वृंदावन हो गुरु धाम पे वारो जो गुरु के पद प्रीति जुरी तो भजो चली आवे गो ब्रह्म विचारो है हरि निर्मल भक्तन को गुरु है अधमों को उदाहरण हारो औरन को गुरु हो या न हो गुरु मेरो कृपालु सुभाग हमारो औरन को गुरु हो या न हो गुरु मेरो कृपालु सुभाग हमारो। श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। श्रीमद् युगल सरकार की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। We're going to chant a kirtan led by Janvi, and the kirtan is Hari Hari Bol, Bol Hari Bol. Let's do Roop Dhyan. Let's take our mind to the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Krishna. When the mind wanders here and there, then we must take Lord Krishna to where the mind has gone. अब हम रूप ध्यान करेंगे, रूप ध्यान पूर्वक कीर्तन करेंगे हरि हरि बोल का। हमें ये बात ध्यान में रखनी है हमेशा जब हम कीर्तन के लिए बैठें, कि ख़ास तौर से जब कीर्तन के लिए बैठें कि पहले से ही हम मन को लगा दें भगवान के चरणों में, ताकि जब हम कीर्तन करें तो मन इधर उधर ना जाए संसार में। So let's do Roop Dhyan. Roop meaning form, the beautiful form, divine form of God, and Dhyan simply means meditation. So meditation on the Supreme Lord. And let's begin.
Hari Hari Bol, Bol Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol, Bol Hari Bol. Hari Hari Bol. हरि हरि बोल, बोल हरि बोल।
केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल,
केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल,
केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल,
केशव माधव हरि हरि you, Janvi. Please turn to book 1. It will say on the outside book 1, it's the one with the pinkish cover. Page number is 84. Page 84, towards the bottom of the page. Dekho dekho ri Gval Balan Yaari. This is a very sweet bhajan, very sweet song depicting the friendship of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Lord, who descends to earth for the benefit of individual souls, for the benefit of the world. And he distributes all kinds of love. Prishta Sankhya hai 84, book number 1 mein. He distributes all kinds of love, and I'll be talking about that in the lecture part. And now we are being shown a glimpse of love that he gives, the love of a friend. The Supreme Lord becomes a friend, and he is friend of the illiterate cowherd boys. So look at the greatness of the friendship the illiterate cowherd boys enjoy with Sri Krishna. Dekho dekho ri Gval Balan Yaari. Playing various games with them, Lord Krishna sometimes lets them win, loses deliberately, and then makes them happy by becoming a horse for them to ride upon. At times he makes them angry and then rejoices hearing their sweet words of abuse. When Sri Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill, his friends said, since Kanhaiya used only his fingernail, whereas we used all our strength in lifting the mountain, it is we, not he, who should be called Giridhari, mountain lifter. Jagadguru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj says, but the most beautiful scene is that of his friends teasing him, saying that he has 2 fathers and 2 mothers. Jagadguru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj कहते हैं, अरे इन ग्वाल बालों की यारी तो देखो ठाकुर जी के साथ. पूर्णतम पुरुषोत्तम ब्रह्म श्री कृष्ण इन ग्वाल बालों के सखा हैं. ये ग्वाल बाल ऐसे हैं, इतना प्यार है इनका ठाकुर जी से कि ठाकुर जी इनके मुख से गस्से छीन छीन के खाते हैं और खाते हुए कहते हैं बलिहारी है. ऐसा स्वादिष्ट भोजन मुझे कभी नहीं मिला, क्योंकि वो अपने भक्तों का जूठन चाहते हैं. जब खेल खेल रहे होते हैं तो ठाकुर जी जानबूझ के उनको जिताते हैं, अपने सखाओं को जिताते हैं, जानबूझ के अपने आप हार जाते हैं और शर्त के अनुसार, पूर्व शर्त के अनुसार वो घोड़ा बन जाते हैं और उनके कंधों पे सखा लोग बारी बारी से चढ़ते हैं, जैसे घुड़सवारी कर रहा है कोई घोड़े की. कभी कभी उनके सखा लोग उनसे रूठ भी जाते हैं क्योंकि वो हार जाते हैं ठाकुर जी से. फिर ठाकुर जी को बड़ा अच्छा लगता है जब उनके सखा लोग उनको मधुर मधुर गालियाँ देते हैं. जब ठाकुर जी ने गोवर्धन को उठाया तो बाद में सखाओं ने कहा, अरे इसको कैसे गिरिधारी की पदवी मिल गई? गिरिधारी तो हम हैं, क्योंकि इसने तो एक ही अंगुली लगाई थी और हमने पूरा जोर लगा दिया था, नहीं तो सब लोग, हम सब, पूरा ब्रज ही गोवर्धन के नीचे दब जाता. जगतगुरु श्री कृपालु जी महाराज कहते हैं, ये सब बहुत ही मधुर है छवि, लेकिन सबसे बढ़िया छवि, मधुरतम छवि वो है जब सखा लोग ठाकुर जी को चिढ़ाते हैं और कहते हैं इसके तो 2 बाप हैं और 2 मैया हैं. Once again we're using this book. If you don't have a book, can you raise your hand? It's okay. You know where to get it from, right? And anybody else who doesn't have a book? Okay. Can you give one of? We need both the books today. So first and second one. The words are going to be on the screens as well. हाँ देखो देखो री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री. हाँ देखो देखो री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री. हाँ देखो 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 री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री. हाँ देखो देखो री
बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे,
हाँ देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे,
हाँ देखो देखो रे।
देखो रे, देखो रे, देखो रे, देखो देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
इन ग्वालन मुख छोरी छोरी हरी,
इन ग्वालन मुख छोरी छोरी हरी,
छोरी छोरी हरी,
छोरी छोरी हरी।
खात कार कही बलिहारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाथ कौर कही बलिहारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाथ कौर कही बलिहारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाथ कौर कही बलिहारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे,
हाँ देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे,
हाँ देखो देखो रे।
देखो रे, देखो रे, देखो देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
रिझवत खेल जिताय सखन को,
रिझवत खेल जिताय सखन को,
जिताय सखन को,
जिताय सखन को।
रिझवत खेल जिताय सखन को,
रिझवत खेल जिताय सखन को।
घोड़ा बनी बनी बनवारी, देखो देखो रे।
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 हाँ देखो देखो रे,
हाँ देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे,
हाँ देखो देखो रे।
देखो रे, देखो रे, देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो 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 रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो
देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
कबहु कदेत रिसाय सखन कहाँ,
कबहु कदेत रिसाय सखन कहाँ।
कबहु कदेत रिसाय सखन कहाँ,
कबहु कदेत रिसाय सखन कहाँ।
पुनितिन सुनत मधुर गारी, देखो देखो रे।
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 हाँ 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 देखो देखो रे।
देखो रे देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
घोड़ा बने बने बनवारी, देखो देखो रे।
घोड़ा बनी बनी बनवारी, देखो देखो रे।
घोड़ा बने बने बनवारी, देखो देखो रे।
घोड़ा बनी बनी बनवारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे।
देखो रे देखो रे देखो रे देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो रे।
नख धार्यो गोवर्धन गिरी जब,
नख धार्यो गोवर्धन गिरि जब।
नख धार्यो गोवर्धन गिरी जब,
नख धार्यो गोवर्धन गिरि जब।
सखन कह्यो हम गिरिधारी, देखो देखो रे।
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 हाँ देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो रे।
हाँ देखो देखो री,
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 देखो री, देखो री, देखो री, देखो देखो री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो 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 री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री,
सखन कहो हम गिरिधारी, 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 देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री,
देखो री, देखो री, देखो देखो री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री,
सो कृपालु छवि अनुपम जब कहा,
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 सो कृपालु छवि अनुपम जब कहा,
सो कृपालु छवि अनुपम जब कहा,
द्वैतातरु द्वै महतारी, देखो देखो री,
द्वैता तरु द्वै महतारी, देखो देखो री,
द्वैतातरु द्वै महतारी, देखो देखो री,
द्वैता तरु द्वै महतारी, देखो देखो री,
हाँ 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 देखो देखो री,
देखो री, देखो री, देखो देखो री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री,
द्वैतातरु द्वै महतारी, देखो देखो री,
द्वैता तरु द्वै महतारी, देखो देखो री,
द्वैतातरु द्वै महतारी, देखो देखो री,
द्वैता तरु द्वै महतारी, देखो देखो री,
सखन कहो हम गिरधारी, देखो देखो री,
सखन कहो हम गिरधारी, देखो देखो री,
घोड़ा बनी बनी बनवारी, देखो देखो री,
घोड़ा बनी बनी बनवारी, री,
हाँ देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री,
देखो री ग्वाल
देखो री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री,
हाँ देखो देखो री ग्वाल बालन यारी, देखो देखो री।
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला,
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 भजो गोपाला गोपाला, भजो 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 गोपाला,
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला,
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला,
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला,
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला,
भजो गिरिधर गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला,
भजो 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 गोपाला गोपाला, भजो 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 गोपाला,
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद 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 गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गोपाला
भजो गोपाला
भजो नंदलाला
भजो नंदलाला
भजो नंदलाला
भजो नंदलाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो 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 गोपाला
भजो गोपाला
भजो गोपाला
भजो गोपाला
भजो नंदलाला
भजो नंदलाला
भजो नंदलाला
भजो नंदलाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
बोलिए गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाल की
जय।
प्रथमं सद्गुरुं वन्दे श्रीकृष्णं तदनन्तरं गुरुः पापात्मनां त्राता श्रीकृष्णस्त्वमलात्मनाम् गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर् गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Dear devotees of God, the Supreme Lord descends to earth from time to time, as the Bhagavad Gita says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir-bhavati bharat abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. The Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna says, whenever there is a decline in dharma, when people are forgetting what their supreme duty is, to remind them, I descend to earth from time to time. I come to earth, he says, to annihilate the evil forces and to protect the virtuous ones. So 5,000 years ago, keeping true to his promise, the Supreme Lord descended to earth as Krishna. Krishna avatar did not happen for the very first time. This srishti, this creation is eternal. There was never a time when creation was not. When we talk about creation, we're talking about a creation period. When we talk about beginning of creation, what we're talking about is when this particular creation period began. When creation takes place, the word for creation is srishti in Sanskrit. Srishti comes from the root word srij. Srij means to manifest, to be manifested. So, to be revealed. So, this world, this creation is revealed. There is creation, then there's destruction. Then creation, destruction. It's an eternal cycle. So 5,000 years ago, Sri Krishna descended to earth towards the end of Dwapar Yuga. Our scriptures divide time into 4 Yuga or ages or eras. Sat Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. Sri Krishna comes towards the end of every Dwapar Yuga. And when he leaves this earth, in a little over 100 years, he stays here for 110 years. Then the moment he leaves the earth, Kali Yuga, the present era, begins. So this era is just a little over 5,000 years old. When Sri Krishna comes to earth, he comes here for many reasons. Even when you go out of your house, you go and you go out for many reasons. That, no, I want to go to the dry cleaners, then I have to go stop by at the bank, then I want to go do some grocery shopping, then I want to go meet up a friend of mine for coffee. You go for many reasons. Sri Krishna, God, comes to earth for many reasons. There's not just one reason. But the best reason is, the greatest reason is, that he comes here so that we may fall in love with him. We can't fall in love with the invisible one. The Vedas say that he is invisible, he is formless, but he also has a form. He is very visible as well. Murtan chaiva murtan dve eva brahmano rupe. Brahma has 2 aspects, murt and amurt. He is murt, meaning with name and form, and he is amurt also, that is formless. So Sanatan Vedic Dharma, known to everyone as Hinduism, says God is both, with and without form. But the formless God does not help us because we don't form a loving relationship with him. So that formless Brahma takes form, he descends to earth, and this is what Sri Krishna does from time to time. When he comes here, we are able to love him. Even 5,000 years later, we are able to fall in love with him because we have so many stories of him. We have so much recorded in the scriptures about him. So we are still giving our hearts to him. He is still now, he's beginning he is becoming, or he has become our divine sweetheart, our divine darling. He pulls at our heartstrings through his different leelas, his pastimes that he has performed. And today I would like to talk about Sakhya Leela, the pastimes that Sri Krishna performs as a friend. We all know that God is everything to us. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. This is a prayer that every Hindu is familiar with. Meaning is beautiful. My Lord, you alone, only you are my mother, my father. You are my only mother, my only father, my only brother, my only friend, my only wealth and my only knowledge. You are my one and only. Because I am the Atma and I don't have any relationship. The Atma, the soul, does not have any relationship with anyone of the world. So I am the Atma, I am the soul, and you are my one and only. The soul can be related only to the Supreme Soul. The body has various relationships in the world, but the soul, we have only one relative, and that is Bhagwan, the Supreme Lord. Call him Ram, call him Krishna, call him God, call him Allah, call him Khuda, call him Ahur Mazd. There are countless names of his. Ananta Nama Rupaya Vishnave. Shri Krishna. Krishna means the one who is the most attractive, the all-attractive one. We call him Krishna. He gives us all kinds of love. He allows us to love him as our Lord and Master, which he absolutely is. He's our Lord and Master. Who does not know that? But he's much more than that. If we regard him as only Lord and Master, then we can't love him in all possible ways. Then we'll be too afraid of him. My Lord, oh, he's the Lord of innumerable universes. Oh, I'm afraid of him. Many people have learned to be afraid of God. We should not be afraid of him. He's the most loving. We want to love him. Many people say, I'm God-fearing. No, we must be God-loving, not God-fearing. Where there's fear, there's no love. So God comes in the form of Krishna. He is very playful. He has a serious side, but he is very playful also. He allows us to think of him as our Lord and Master, that is Dasya Bhav. Then there is a higher relationship we can form with him, that is Sakhya Bhav, he is my friend. Then there's a higher relationship, Vatsalya Bhav, he is my child. And the highest is, he's my beloved, Madhurya Bhav. Today we focus on Sakhya Bhav. One of the main leelas or pastimes in Sakhya Bhav is the Gocharan Leela. When Sri Krishna, as a cowherd, he goes out to graze the calves, the cows, and the cattle. He's a cowherd. He is being raised by Nanda and Yashoda, and Nanda Baba is the chief of his clan. He is a cowherd. He's chief of the cowherds. Now, Sri Krishna has two mothers and two fathers. Two mothers, Devaki and Yashoda, two fathers, Vasudeva and Nanda. Devaki gave birth to him, but of course his birth was divine. Janma karma cha me divyam, says Bhagavad Gita. Shri Krishna says, my birth and my actions are divine. Don't think that I take birth and so I'm just like you, just like an ordinary person. No. His birth is such that he makes his mother, in this case Devaki, feel that she is with child. And she goes through all the emotions and all the physical reactions that an expectant mother goes through at appropriate times. She has all the food cravings and everything. She feels that she is with child. All that's happening is that the Supreme Lord is pumping air into her stomach. That's all that's happening. There's no child inside, but she feels that she's with child, and after 9 months, the child is born, but at that time, everybody becomes unconscious. The mother becomes unconscious, all her attendants become unconscious, and when they become conscious again, and there's a little child. Oh, a child is born. So in this case, Devaki gives birth to him, meaning first he appears in the form of Mahavishnu as God, because Devaki had always wanted to know, she wanted to know that she is giving birth, that God is going to come to her as a child. And so he made sure that she knew. And then she prayed to him, please become a child. And then he took away his majestic form and he became a newborn. He started to cry. So Devaki gave him birth, but then he was taken to the house of Nanda and Yashoda. Now, did you know that Nanda and Vasudeva, so there's Devaki and Vasudeva, so Vasudeva is the father of Lord Krishna, but then he's being raised by Nanda Baba and Yashoda. So Nanda and Vasudeva are actually half-brothers. Their father was the same, but they have two different mothers. So Vasudeva considered himself a Kshatriya. Because his father is Kshatriya, Kshatriya is the ruling class, these are the kings, these are the warriors also, they're Kshatriya. And on the other hand, Nanda considered himself a Vaishya, and this is important to know, Vaishya, because although his father was a Kshatriya, his mother was from a Vaishya family, whereas Vasudeva's mother came from a Kshatriya family. So there's no doubt that he's a Kshatriya, but Nanda Baba considered his mother's caste as his own, so he considered himself a Vaishya. So the Vaishya, these are the business community, these are the money lenders, these are the cowherds also. That's the community. This is the background of Lord Krishna now. So Shri Krishna, variously known as Kanhaiya and Shyamsundar, and I will use these terms, and most of you are familiar with these terms. He has so many loving names that devotees have given him. His mother would never call him Krishna. She would call him Kanhaiya, but actually she would call him Kanua, a nickname, and that's how devotees refer to him, lovingly. Take the majesty away. We know he's God. Yes, I know you're God. Sure, you're God, fine, but you are much more than that. You are my best friend. You're my eternal friend also. So Shri Krishna is Vaishya. And because he's born in the family of cowherds, cowherding community, he is going to be a cowherd also. So Nand Baba, Nand and Yashoda have invited a priest, Purohit, a Pandit, to their house, and the Pandit has determined an auspicious day in which little Kanhaiya is going to start his seva, his work as a cowherd. And he must go, as a cowherd, he must not wear any slippers or shoes, he has to go barefoot. And the gopis, these milkmaidens of Vrindavan who loved him more than life, they were very troubled by the fact that he has to go barefoot. But that is a rule. Since the beginning of creation, the rule is that a cowherd must go and herd the cows barefoot. So Shri Krishna also goes barefoot. It doesn't matter that he's God. Whether it is a saint who comes to this earth or a God himself, they have to follow the rules of this world. If they don't, then we'll consider them to be insane and we'll lock them up in a mental asylum. So Shri Krishna follows the rules of the world and he goes barefoot. And gopis wait for him, these greatest devotees of him. They know he is much more than Kanhaiya, Krishna. They don't know consciously, but somehow they know who he is and they love him more than life. So when he is gone all day long to graze in the beginning he would graze the little calves, later on he would graze the cows, then they would wait for him all day long, and the Bhagavad says, Atati adbhavanahni kananam trutiryugayate twam pasyatam kutila shri mukham. The gopis would find fault with Brahma, the creator. They would say, Jad udikshatam pakshmakridrisham. Oh, Brahma, the creator, he is a fool. You are illiterate and you're calling Brahma a fool? The one who creates everything out of nothing? Tasmadva etasmadasmanu. The Upanishads say that Brahma creates everything out of nothing. There was nothing, and he created ether, air. From air, fire. From fire, water. From water, earth. From ether, space, he created air. From air, fire. From fire, water. From water, earth. Brahmaji does this. But the gopis are saying, oh foolish Brahma, you knew that I was going to have darshan of Sri Krishna. Why did you give me only 2 eyes? You should have given me many, many eyes. You gave me only 2 eyes, and on top of that, you created eyelids. These eyelids do not allow me to have uninterrupted darshan of my beloved Kanhaiya. We think we're looking at someone, we're staring at someone, but we can never stare at anyone continuously, even for a couple of minutes, because our eyelids are closing and opening, and we don't become aware of that. So the gopis love him so much that they thought of this, that we have eyelids and therefore we cannot have uninterrupted darshan, and they become angry at Brahma. But my purpose is not to speak of the gopis today, it's all about the cowherd boys. So Sri Krishna goes along with the cowherd boys, and he goes with all of them. He has many, many of them, and he goes to the pastures, and they spend a whole day taking care of the cows, and then they eat, they play. They have a wonderful time for many, many hours. Brahmaji says about these friends of Lord Krishna, Aho bhagyam nanda gopavrajau yan mitram paramanandam purnam brahma sanatanam. Oh, what can I say about the great fortune of these cowherd boys? They have the Supreme Lord Krishna as their friend and playmate. They regard him as an equal, because when you talk about friends, you don't talk about one being superior, the other one being inferior. They don't regard him as the Supreme Lord. They regard him as an equal. So they enjoy a wonderful friendship with Sri Krishna. Now, these friends such as Dhansukh, Mansukh and Sri Dama, they are eternally liberated souls. They were never under the control of Maya. There are two kinds of saints, meaning God-realized souls. Sant, Mahatma, Mahapurush. There are two kinds. One is Nitya Siddh, the other is Nitya Siddh, the other is Sadhan Siddh. Sadhan Siddh means someone who is an ordinary person, like us, and one day he surrenders. Gradually he surrenders to God, and his surrender one day is 100% complete. He surrenders to God 100%. He becomes a saint. Now, he has loved Sri Krishna as a friend, so now he becomes a Sakha, a friend of Lord Krishna. He sadhan siddh, he did sadhana, he practiced devotion, he attained perfection. The other saint is Nitya Siddh. He was never under the control of Maya. He was always liberated, eternally liberated. But Brahmaji is not even speaking about the Sadhan Siddh or even Nitya Siddh. He is talking about those sakhas or friends who are like reflections of Lord Krishna himself. They are the governors of Swarup Shakti. They are not individual souls. They are in the category of Sri Krishna. They have come along with Sri Krishna and they are his friends. And about them, Brahmaji is saying, oh, what can I say about the fortune of these friends of Sri Krishna who have the Supreme Lord as their friend and playmate. But you know, even the Vedas tell us that even we are his friends. He is our friend also. The Upanishad says, Mundaka Upanishad says, Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya samanam vriksham parikhasva jate tayoranyah pippalam swadvatya nashnan nanyo abhichakashiti. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya. Sakhaya, sakha meaning friend. So this Upanishad is saying that the individual soul and the Supreme Soul, they are eternal friends. We, meaning the soul, we live in the heart. The soul, where does it live? Hridi Hyesha Atma, Prashnopanishad. This Upanishad says the soul lives in the heart, not in the physical part of the body called the heart, but within the heart there is a subtle heart, Sukshma Hriday. And in that subtle heart, which is formless, the subtle soul dwells. But we are not alone in that subtle heart, because along with the Jivatma, along with the individual soul, the Supreme Soul is also there. The Supreme Soul is always there because he's our eternal friend, and he does not leave us for even a quarter of a moment, quarter of a second. He does not ever leave us. And whichever body we are born in this human form of life, and that is the greatest blessing of God. But we have been born in every form, every possible form of life. The Vedas and Vedic scriptures tell us that there are 8.4 million forms of life. We have not discovered all of them. They exist, but we are still in the process of discovering these species. You may have read in publications such as National Geographic that, you know, they have now found this many number of species. We didn't know about these, and now they're being named, they're being given names. Now these species existed because the Vedas are the voice of God, eternal voice of God, and they have told us there are 8,400,000 different types of bodies. We have been born in each and every possible form of life countless times because we have lived countless lives. So, now we are in the human form of life. But wherever we go, our Sakha, our eternal friend, goes with us. He doesn't say, oh, now you're a little worm and I'm not going to be with you. No, I'll go with you wherever you go. You are a little creature living in the gutter, such a dirty environment, I won't go with you. No, I will accompany you wherever you go. We are sent to Naraklok, hell, for a limited amount of time for our sinful deeds, and he goes with us. We come out of there, he goes with us wherever we go. He is that kind of friend. So he's our eternal friend. He has never forsaken us. We have forgotten him. We don't find time for him, but he has always accompanied us. He has never left us. He's a true friend. God is our true friend. He is very concerned about us. He protected us when we were in the mother's womb. Who was there protecting us? Our eternal friend was protecting us, making sure that we got the nourishment. The mother does not know, the expectant mother does not know how her unborn child is receiving the protection and the nourishment, but God takes care of all that. When we took birth, by the time we were born, there was mother's milk, so he created milk in the mother's body. The mother has no idea how that happened. So that otherwise every child would have died. And then when the child gets teeth, then by then there's so much food stuff for that child to eat. There's so much variety. All this is arranged by our eternal friend. And he lives inside of us, and he takes note of each and every action of ours. And he never looks away. He's always looking at us, always noting down. He's the eternal witness, Sarva Sakshi. And he has to look at us all the time. He cannot look away. Why? Sakrideva prapannaya tavasmiti cha yachate abhayam sarva papebhyo dadame tadvratam mama. Valmiki Ramayana says that as soon as the individual soul surrenders to God, that exact moment, immediately, he has to do many works. He has to give unlimited knowledge to that individual soul. He makes that individual soul completely fearless from Maya. Maya Shakti, the potency called Maya, will never torment that soul. He must give many divine gifts to that soul who has surrendered to him. So he cannot look away. What if he looks away for half a second, and in that half a second, the individual soul surrenders to him? So he never forsakes the individual soul. He's always looking, always noting down all the actions, meaning the thoughts of the individual. And then he gives us the fruits of those actions. Punyena punyalokam nayati, papena papam ubhabhyameva manusyalokam. Prashnopanishad says that for virtuous actions beget virtuous results. Sinful deeds beget sinful effects, and a mixture of both good and bad actions, they give their appropriate. One receives appropriate fruits for those actions. For the sinful deeds, one attains residence in Naraklok, in hell, for some time. For virtuous actions, one attains residence in Swargalok, the celestial abode, for some time. And for the mixture of good deeds, virtuous deeds, and sinful deeds, one comes to this world in various forms of life. All these works are done by our eternal friend, our eternal Sakha, Shri Krishna. He's always with us. So, when Shri Krishna descends to earth, he brings along his friends from Golok, from his divine kingdom. And then there are other friends also, his sakhas, who are perhaps Sadhan Siddha Mahapurush or Nitya Siddha Mahapurush. And Sri Krishna goes with his friends and he grazes the cattle. When it's time to have their lunch, all the boys, they sit in a circle. That's their daily routine. And they open the packets of food that their mothers have packed for them. Now they all look at not their packets, but they look at the other's packet. They don't look at their food, they look at the other's food. So if one of the boys thinks, this one, he has brought some halwa. I love halwa. So I am going to take some from him. So he asks, may I have some of your halwa? No. All right, he thinks, well, I'll take it anyway. So he distracts his friend. Oh, look over there, look over there. He looks there, he takes halwa, he puts it in his mouth. So they pull pranks on one another. They share also. It's not that they're not willing to share. And all of them want to serve their eternal friend Krishna. So they all want to serve him by giving him what is the most delicious food. So if a Sakha is having something which is delicious, let's say it's an orange, and it's a very juicy orange, and he knows that Krishna would love that. It's Kanhaiya, my best friend, he will love that. So he will eat a little bit, that's how he knows it's sweet. So then he says, Kanhaiya, taste this orange, it's really sweet. Taste this apple, it's really sweet. Taste this rasmalai, it's wonderful. My mother makes great rasmalai. So they're very willing to share with Krishna. Now, Thakurji, Kanhaiya, he loves his devotees so much. God loves his devotees so much that he wants their prasad. Now, we take the prasad of God. We offer food to God. We'll be doing that at noontime. We offer him food, not because he needs to eat, but because we have a loving relationship with him. We want to feed him. And after the food is offered, we will enjoy it as prasad in the dining hall. We take his prasad. Prasad literally means grace. That food is no longer food, it's his grace. He has tasted it, so it is his jutan. So we take his prasad, but the humility of Sri Krishna, God is so humble. He's the height of humility. He is humility itself personified. So he takes food, he snatches food from his friend's mouth, and he puts it in his own mouth and says, Balihari hai. Oh, this is delicious food. I have never tasted food which is more delicious than this. And that's not an act. He is responding to the love that these friends of his have for him. God responds to the love of a devotee. So he snatches food from the mouth, which we would say, yeah, we would never do that. Have you ever done that? No, we've never done that. That's disgusting. We would say that's disgusting. We find it disgusting. But Sri Krishna loves that. We are willing to do certain things. Okay, well, we can eat from the same plate, okay? Or you have tasted this, okay, you can give it to me, I'll eat it. We can eat from the same plate. But you have your bowl, I have my bowl. My bowl of dal is here, yours is here. Okay, we're sharing the roti, but same plate, same platter. All right, we'll share the same bowl of dal, okay, we'll do that much. But snatch food from somebody's mouth and put it in our mouth? No, mother doesn't do that, doesn't snatch food from her child, and the child doesn't do that with his mother. Nobody does that, but Sri Krishna does. And he loves to do this. And then these boys are playing various games. They are very intelligent. All of them don't take care of the cows and the cattle all the time. That would be foolish. So they take turns. They have groups. Okay, this group takes care of all the cows and all the calves. Then this group comes back and then they play. And another group that has been playing various games, they go and take care of the cows. In this way, they don't have to work all the time. They don't have to take care of the cows all the time. Then they play. And when they play games, then they have decided before the game has started that whoever the loser is will become a horse for others to ride upon. So then Sri Krishna deliberately loses games. Now, who can defeat the Supreme Lord? God himself has come down to earth and he's playing games. He looks like a little boy, but nobody can defeat him. He is Ajit. He cannot be conquered. He cannot be won. He wins over everyone. He is the supreme winner. He cannot lose a game. So he deliberately loses the game. To give happiness to his friends. And then to also serve them. How does he serve them? Well, when he loses a game, then let's say he's playing a game with Sri Dama. And Sri Dama wins, Krishna loses. So Sri Krishna, Kanhaiya, he has to pick Sri Dama up on his shoulders. So now Sri Dama is riding on Kanhaiya's shoulders, just like a horse rider rides a horse. No different. There's no difference. So just as a horse rider kicks the horse with his heel in order to make the horse go faster, so does Sri Dama kick Sri Krishna in the stomach with his heel. And he says, go faster. Go faster, you're too slow, Kanhaiya. Go faster. And Kanhaiya smiles and runs faster. No, go faster. So Sri Dama keeps on hitting Krishna in the stomach with his heel. And Sri Krishna says, oh, I'm so fortunate to get the foot dust of my devotees. He's saying this internally. He doesn't say, oh, Sri Dama, I'm so happy to get your foot dust. Sri Dama say, what? What are you talking about? Outwardly, there's boys, one has won the game, the other has lost, so the loser is the horse, the winner is a horse rider. But internally, what Sri Krishna is feeling is that I want to get the foot dust of my devotees. I am so fortunate. But sometimes their friends lose the game because it's not natural that Krishna should be losing all the time. So sometimes he wins and they lose. And when he wins, sometimes they get angry and then they verbally abuse him for very sweet words. There is a gali in Braj Bhasha. It's very mild. It's not wrong. It's not bad. It's like dari ke. And they will say, dari ke, tu kaise jeet gaya? How did you win? You cheated. I know you cheated. They will say all this to him. They will tease him. They will scold him. And remember, you have heard many times that Sri Krishna was the smallest amongst his friends. He was the youngest. So all the other boys were older than him. They were taller than him. And sometimes they would lose, and then Punitin sunat madhur gari. Then they would speak to him as if they're scolding him, and he loved to hear those words. You see, in Golok, in his divine abode, in his divine kingdom, he only gets praise all the time. There are saints over there, and they're always praising him in Sanskrit verses. But when he comes down to the Mrityulok, when he comes down to our world, he loves to get the galis also. He likes to hear the words of abuse because there's a lot of love filled in those words. If someone says, well, yeah, I abuse God as well. Oh, but you're doing it out of hatred. You're doing it because you are angry at God. That does not count. But this is a friend of Sri Krishna. These are friends who lovingly give him sweet words of abuse. And Sri Krishna delights in hearing them. Sometimes he'll even say, Sri Dama, what did you say? And Sri Dama would say, I said this to you. Can't you hear me? No, I didn't hear you. I still didn't hear you. What did you say? So that he would hear those sweet words again and again. And when Sri Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill to save the entire Braj and all the inhabitants of Braj, all the people and all the animals of Braj, he had to lift the Govardhan hill. When Indra created 7 days of torrential rainfall, everyone was afraid of being drowned. Then Sri Krishna lifted the Govardhan using the left hand and the baby finger and just the edge of the nail of the baby finger. He held the mountain up. And his friends, rather than saying, that is a miracle, how are you picking this up? They were using their sticks. The cowherds, they carry a staff, a stick, to control the cows. And so they're propping up the mountain with their sticks, and they're saying, we are working so hard, Kanhaiya, and you have this nature that you take everything so lightly. So you're using just your left hand, and that too just one finger, and that too just the edge of that fingernail. How irresponsible. You're so irresponsible and you're so spoiled, and that in this time of trouble, you're still being playful. This is not good. So later on, Shri Krishna was given the title Giridhari or Giridhar. We call him Bhajo Giridhar Govinda Gopala. Giridhar, Giridhari meaning mountain lifter. So he was given this title of mountain lifter, and all the friends cried foul. They said, this is not fair. We are all Giridhari, not he. He's not Giridhari. No, no, no. We use all our strength. He used hardly any strength. So we should be called Giridhari. The friends of Lord Krishna, Shri Krishna made sure that they never found out about the fact that he was Almighty, the Almighty Lord, the omniscient, the omnipotent, the omnipresent Lord. He did not allow them to find that out. What happened was that, and sometime once they did find out, they started thinking that he is someone special, because the the elders of the village, they talked amongst themselves after the Govardhan Leela, and they said, you know, this boy, the son of Nanda and Yashoda, he's not an ordinary boy. He lifted a mountain. He is a divine power. He's a divine personality. And the little boys, the friends of Shri Krishna, heard this also. So they started looking at him differently. Oh, he's a divine personality? We thought he was just one of us. And they would look at him, they would talk to him differently, they saw him differently, they looked at him adoringly and with the holy fear. And Shri Krishna started to cry. So they asked him, Kanhaiya, what's wrong? What's wrong? Kya ho gaya? Ro kyun rahe ho? Why are you crying? And he said, because you are looking at me differently. As if I'm not one of you. As if I am a stranger. As if I'm not yours. Why are you looking at me like that? That's why I'm crying. You don't think of me as your own. And the friends of Shri Krishna said, oh, what are these people, old people, talking about? What divine personality? He's one of us. Ye to apna yaar hai, dost hai. He's our friend. He's not a divine personality. These people have lost their minds. And they again started loving him as their friend. Because there is a principle in devotion, and that is apana ke bada mana amar samheen. Gauranga Mahaprabhu says, if you truly wish to love God, then think of him to be smaller than you. He's my child. And at the very least, think of him to be an equal. He's my friend. Because if you think of him as your Lord and Master, that you're thinking of him to be bigger than you. Yes, in the back of your mind, you know that he's your Lord and Master, but he's so much more than that. He is your friend, so that is an equal relationship. And then he is your child. He's now younger than you. Then he's your beloved. Now, in that lover-beloved relationship, all the other relationships are automatically included. So now, let's say there's a man and his wife, a man and a woman, husband and wife. So the wife looks at her husband as her beloved, but he's also her, ideally, that's her best friend. And also, she mothers him, eat one more roti, take some more rice, or sometimes she will take the roti away. No, you're putting on too much weight. Take one less roti, take less rice, eat this, eat more salad. So she is like a mother to him also. She mothers him. And wherever there's love, there is a desire to serve the other. So all the relationships are included in that lover-beloved relationship, even in the world. So with Sri Krishna, also, all the relationships are included automatically in that highest relationship, which is Madhurya Bhav. So, in order to truly love God, we need to bring him down to our level. And that is why he comes down to our level, figuratively and literally, he comes down to our level. Shri Krishna comes and takes birth in this world of ours, in the land of Braj. It still exists. In Uttar Pradesh is the state in India, and there is the area of Braj. In Mathura district, there is Vrindavan, there's Gokul. So all that is still there, 5,000 years later. Shri Krishna had brought his divine Vrindavan from his divine kingdom Golok, and he had brought it to this world where Braj is right now. And then with him, he takes it away. But we can still visit Vrindavan, and we can get the benefit of divine Vrindavan if we go beyond the material Vrindavan, if we don't notice anything there, any negatives there, and we just think this is where Shri Krishna came 5,000 years ago, this is where he placed his lotus feet, this is where he performed his pastimes, this is where Brahmand Ghat, that is where he ate dirt, and his mother said, show me, you've been eating dirt. And he said, no, I haven't. She said, open your mouth and show me. And when he opened the mouth, actually the mouth opened by itself out of fear, and then she looked into that mouth of her little child and she saw Brahmand. She saw the whole universe in there. And she fainted. Brahmand Ghat, that is where he showed Maya his universal form, and then made her forget all that. So this is the place where he performed his divine pastimes. If we go to Vrindavan today, we should go prepared to look at it as a divine place, not as a worldly place, which is like a city, it's a village, it's a town, not like that, but it is where God himself descended 5,000 years ago, and this is where he performed his leelas. So when Shri Krishna comes to this earth, he has his friends who love him more than life itself, and he gives them the happiness that only he can give. The friends love him, and it's very sweet when we hear about the friends eating along with Shri Krishna, or he is snatching food from their mouths, and the friends are saying, oh, it's not fair, you won the game, you cheated, or you are not the one who is Giridhari, we are the real Giridhari. But Jagat Guru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj says the most delightful thing is when his friends tease him and they say, some of them say, Dvai Bapan Dvai Maiya. 2 fathers, 2 mothers. And then one of the boys says, Aso kaun? They all know, they're teasing him. Who is this strange person who has 2 mothers and 2 fathers? And another group says, they jump up and say, Kanhaiya. We shall do that right now. This is one group, Dvai Bapan Dvai Maiya. And I'll be saying Aso kaun, and this group will say Kanhaiya, right? And go ahead.
Dvai Bapan Dvai Maiya.
Aso kaun?
Oh, Dvai Bapan Dvai Maiya.
Aso kaun?
Kanhaiya. Oh, Dvai Bapan Dvai Maiya.
Aso kaun?
Kanhaiya. Dvai Bapan Dvai Maiya.
Aso kaun?
Kanhaiya. Dvai Bapan Dvai Maiya.
Aso kaun?
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 Dvai Bapan Dvai Maiya.
Oh, aso kaun?
Dvai Bapan Dvai Maiya.
Oh, aso kaun? बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, बोलिए सख्य लीला की जय, सनातन सखा की जय. We will go to the next book, the second book, book number 2, the one with the yellowish cover, and we'll go to page number 118. मन तेरो सांचो यार ब्रज राजकुमार. Page 118, page number is at the bottom of the page. 118 पृष्ठ, second book. मन तेरो सांचो यार ब्रज राजकुमार.
मन तेरो सांचो यार ब्रज राजकुमार.
ब्रज राजकुमार.
ब्रज राजकुमार.
तेरो सोई स्वामी सोई सखा सुत भरतार.
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 मन तेरो सांचो यार ब्रज राजकुमार.
मन तेरो सांचो यार ब्रज राजकुमार.
झूठे जग व्यवहार झूठे सब नातेदार.
झूठे जग व्यवहार झूठे सब नातेदार.
रसिकन दरबार तेरो सोई घर बार. Please clap your hands and sing.
तेरो सोई
ताली बजाइए. तेरो सोई घर बार.
तेरो सोई घर बार.
जाको ऐसो नातेदार वापे कोटिन प्राणवार.
जाको ऐसो नातेदार वापे कोटिन प्राणवार.
वापे कोटिन प्राणवार.
वापे कोटिन प्राणवार.
मन तेरो सांचो यार ब्रज राजकुमार.
मन तेरो सांचो यार ब्रज राजकुमार.
धन्य धन्य ब्रजनार तेरो सोई कर्णधार.
धन्य धन्य ब्रजनार तेरो सोई कर्णधार.
रागानुगा व्रत धार अपनाव भावचार.
रागानुगा व्रत धार अपनाव भावचार.
अपनाव भावचार.
अपनाव भावचार.
भक्ति गाई नव प्रकार तामे रूप ध्यान सार.
भक्ति गाई नव प्रकार तामे रूप ध्यान सार.
भावे जोई संसार तामे देखो खड़ो यार.
भावे जोई संसार तामे देखो खड़ो यार.
तामे देखो खड़ो यार.
तामे देखो खड़ो यार.
मुक्ति चार भार डार पिय सुख व्रत धार.
मुक्ति चार भार डार पिय सुख व्रत धार.
तेरो दो प्राणाधार हरि गुरु एक सार.
तेरो दो प्राणाधार हरि गुरु एक सार.
ओ मन तेरो सांचो यार ब्रज राजकुमार.
मन तेरो सांचो यार ब्रज राजकुमार.
ब्रज राजकुमार.
ब्रज राजकुमार.
ब्रज राजकुमार.
यारी प्यार सोचो युगल विहार
सोचो युगल विहार
सोचो युगल विहार
तू ना जाने तू गमार परखत तेरो यार
तू ना जाने तू गमार परखत तेरो यार
करु करुण पुकार ऐ है भुजन पसार
करु करुण पुकार ऐ है भुजन पसार
ऐ है भुजन पसार
ऐ है भुजन पसार
दीन्यो लता पता को प्यार ऐसो कौन अवतार
दीन्यो लता पता को प्यार ऐसो कौन अवतार
पाई पूत नासी नार गति ऐसो को उदार
पाई पूत नासी नार गति ऐसो को उदार
गति ऐसो को उदार
गति ऐसो को उदार
करे कुब्जा हो सो प्यार यार कितनो उदार
करे कुब्जा हूँ सो प्यार यार कितनो उदार
बने घोड़ा सखा सवार देखो कैसो रिझवार
बने घोड़ा सखा सवार देखो कैसो रिझवार
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 मन तेरो सांचो यार ब्रजराज कुमार
मन तेरो
सब लोग गाइए
ब्रजराज कुमार
ब्रजराज कुमार
ब्रजराज कुमार
नाचे छा मान्यो यशोदासो हार बंध्यो उखल निहार
मान्यो यशोदासो हार बंध्यो उखल निहार
नाचे छाछ लगी यार देखो गोपी जन प्यार
नाचे छाछ लगी यार देखो गोपी जन प्यार
देखो गोपी जन प्यार
देखो गोपी जन प्यार
ब्रज गारी सुनी यार वाते कहे बलिहार
रजगारी सुनी यार बातें कहे बलिहार
ऐसो गोपी प्रेम यार पायो पद चौर जार
ऐसो गोपी प्रेम यार पायो पद चौर जार
जैसो जीव करे प्यार तैसो करे प्यार यार
जैसो जीव करे प्यार तैसो करे प्यार यार
अपवाद गोपी प्यार जामे ऋणी माने यार
अपवाद गोपी प्यार जा मेरी माने यार
जामे ऋणी माने यार
जा मेरी माने यार
मन तेरो सांचो यार ब्रजराज कुमार
मन तेरो साचो यार ब्रजराज कुमार
ब्रजराज कुमार
ब्रजराज कुमार
तेरी यारी कैसी यार घर बाही हूँ ना डार सोही प्यार, प्यार दे या ना दे यार।
तेरी यारी सोही प्यार, प्यार दे या ना दे यार।
दृग असुवन धार, पहिराओ यार हार।
मृग असुवन धार, पहिराओ यार हार।
एक बार मानो यार, फिर देखो यार प्यार।
एक बार मानो यार, फिर देखो यार प्यार।
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 मन तेरो सांचो यार, ब्रजराज कुमार।
मन तेरो साचो यार, ब्रजराज कुमार।
करु अब ना अबार, जा कृपालु दरबार।
करू अब ना अपार, जा कृपालु दरबार।
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 ओ मन तेरो सांचो यार, ब्रजराज कुमार।
मन तेरो साचो यार, ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज
ब्रजराज
कुमार।
कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज
ब्रजराज
कुमार।
कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
मन तेरो सांचो यार, ब्रजराज कुमार।
मन तेरो साचो यार, ब्रजराज कुमार।
मन तेरो सांचो यार, ब्रजराज कुमार।
मन तेरो साचो यार, ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज
ब्रजराज
कुमार।
कुमार।
ब्रजराज
ब्रजराज
कुमार।
कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार।
मन तेरो सांचो यार, ब्रजराज कुमार।
मन तेरो साचो यार, ब्रजराज कुमार।
मन तेरो सांचो यार, ब्रजराज कुमार।
मन तेरो साचो यार, ब्रजराज कुमार।
ब्रजराज कुमार की
जय।
जय। It's time to offer food to our Lord. I have, yes, Rupal and pen. If you are unfamiliar with the words, and some of you will be, the Hindi mein, you need to go to book number 1, please. And हिंदी में पृष्ठ संख्या है 6 Abna or Tarsaurasya. The words in English are a little bit further up. Page number is 15. Page 15 in English. Page 6 in Hindi.
Abna aur tarsaao rasiya, aao bhog lagao rasiya. Abna aur tarsaao rasiya, aao bhog lagao rasiya. Abna aur tarsaao rasiya, लगाओ रसिया
श्याम आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया।
बोलिए श्याम रसिया की
जय।
श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की
जय। Everyone, today, the birthday first. Today we have, we're celebrating birthday of a junior devotee. She's 11 years old. Can you please stand? Her name is Janhavi Kothari. Just show your face to everybody to take their blessings. She has just turned 11, and many of our kids want to celebrate their birthdays over here, which is a wonderful thing, because what better place to hold a birthday celebration than at the lotus feet of the Lord. So Janhavi is celebrating, she has just turned 11, and let me tell you a little bit about her. She comes to the temple with her parents and her brother. Her mother is right there. Can we have the whole family up there? Oh, there, okay. She is a wonderful, compassionate, and funny girl. Now, your parents wrote this, but I totally agree with this. And she definitely loves coming to Yugal Kunj, and she meets her friends over here, and she learns music. She definitely does. You heard her singing Hari Hari Bol. She has learned how to play the harmonium, and she is singing very nicely. Her brother plays dholak as well. So she learns music. She does sadhana over here. She also enjoys going to school. It's not that she doesn't go to school. She only comes to Yugal Kunj. She goes to school. She loves learning new things. So she's a learner. And she enjoys art, swimming, and singing. And she's a joy to have. Yes, I say that she's a joy to have over here. I love her smile, by the way. That's not scripted. I do love your smile. And she has made, her parents say that she has made their life very beautiful and meaningful, which is very nice. And you are a wonderful girl. And as I said, I love your smile. I love the fact that you love to learn. And you love coming to Yugal Kunj. You have a love for God and your Guru. So it's wonderful. Let's give her a big hand as she cuts her cake. Come, Janhavi, come and to cut your cake.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to dear Janhavi. Oh, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Oh, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Radhe, 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 Radhe. Radhe, 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 Radhe. Radhe, 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 Radhe. Radhe, 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 Radhe. Oh, Radhe, 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 Radhe. Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. Oh, Radhe, 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 Radhe. Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. Radhe, 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 Radhe. Radhe, 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 Radhe. Radhe, 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 Radhe. Radhe, 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 Radhe.
बोलिए लाडली लाल की जय. We all wish you a very happy birthday. There she is, offering the cake, the dessert after they've had their lunch. She's offering dessert to Bhagwan. And we have a couple of announcements before I request you to stand for Aartis.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. We must always say back.
Radhe Radhe. Let's
Radhe,
try it again.
Radhe. Radhe Radhe.
As many of you don't know, we have a bookstore outside in the lobby. And our bookstore consists of plenty of books written by Shri Maharaj Ji and our Didi Ji. Today, I'm very pleased to announce that we have a new book available. And it's the book we have been waiting for. It's actually the third volume of the Words of Wisdom by our Didi Ji, Sushri Siddeshwari Didi Ji. And this book, it's very interesting to read. Each page consists of a message which we can all learn from. So please, this book is available. We have Pankaj Dave. Pankaj Bhaiya, please raise your hand. He will be happy to assist you. And we have Didi Ji. She's happy to sign the book for you. So please get the copy today. Visit our bookstore and front desk. Radhe Radhe.
I would also like to remind you that coming up in a couple of weeks on the 5th of February, which is a Saturday, we have very exciting news. We have 12 hours of Hare Ram Sankirtan once again. We broaden the year with, we always do, with 12 hours of Hare Ram Sankirtan. No books are needed, just one mantra is recited in many beautiful tunes, and it's very, very interesting, very, very interesting. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So I invite you to be part of that wonderful day from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. We'll be chanting Hare Ram Sankirtan. And we will, of course, all the participants can go, few at a time to have their breakfast and their lunch, and then dinner will be after it finishes, and snacks will be available in the dining hall. So everybody doesn't leave at the same time. And also, if you cannot make it for 12 hours, you can come for as much time as you possibly can. So I'm inviting you for this wonderful 12 hours of Hare Ram Sankirtan, which has become so dear to so many of you. I love it, and I know so many of you just love to be part of that Hare Ram Sankirtan. It gives us a great opportunity to do Roop Dhyan without having to look at the books, without having to look at the words and navigating them. We can just do Roop Dhyan. We can just get down to the really important work of meditating on God. So that's coming up. Please mark your calendars. 5th of February, which is a Saturday, coming up soon. I'm going to ask some of the volunteers to take away the books. We don't need them, but in case you do need, hold on to this book for now. Book number 1, the words of the Aartis. I would like to tell you where they are. It's just Hindi mein prishth sankhya hai 5 or 6. And the English words are page 13, I believe. 13 and 14. And I will request you to stand for Aartis. And birthday girl can come and do Aarti over here. Also, I will just like to remind you that even after we do the Aarti, I would request silence, because that is the rule over here. It's already started. Little talking has already started, but that would not be right. We have complete silence in this hall after all the prayers are finished. Thank you.
आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की के बनवारी मतवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की के बनवारी नथवारी की दोहन सिर कनक मुकुट झलके दोहन श्रुति कुंडल भल हलके दोहन दिग प्रेम सुधा छलके जसीले बैन रसीले नैन घसीले सैन दोहन बैनन मनहारी की बनवारी नटवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नटवारी की दुहुन दृग चितवनी परवारी दुहुन लट लट कनी छवि न्यारी दुहुन भौमट कनी अति प्यारी रसन मुख पान हसन मुस्कान दसन दमकान दुहुन बेसर छवि न्यारी की बनवारी
नथवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की एक उर पीतांबर पहरे एक उर नीलांबर लहरे तुहुन उर नर मोतिन छहरे कंकनन खनक कीर्तिनी झनक नूपुरन भनक दुहुन रुन झुन धुनी प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की एक सिर मोर मुकुट राजे एक सिर चूनरी छवि छाजे दोहन सिर तिरछे भल ब्राजे संग ब्रज बाल लाडली लाल बाह गल डाल कृपालु दुहुन दिगचारी की बनवारी नथवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की श्री राम श्री राम श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भजु मन हरण भव भय दारुणं नव कंच लोचन कंच मुख कर कंच पद कंचारुणं श्री राम श्री राम अंतर्प अगणित अमित छवि नवनील नीरद सुंदरम पटवीत मानमुटडित रुचि शुचि नवमी जनक सुतावरम पटपीत मानमुटडित रुचि शुचि नवमी जनक सुतावरम श्री राम भजु दीन बंधु विदेश दानव दैत्य वंश निकंदनम रघुनंद आनंद कंद कौशल चंद दशरथ नंदनम रघुनंद आनंद कंद कौशल चंद दशरथ नंदनम श्री राम सिर मुकुट कुंडल तिलक चारुदार अंग विभूषणम आजानुभुज शर चाप धर संग्राम जित हर दूषणम आजानुभुज शर चाप धर संग्राम जित हर दूषणम श्री राम इति वदति तुलसीदास शंकर शेष मुनि मनरंजनम मम हृदय कंचनिवास कुरु कामादि खलदल गंजनम मम हृदय कंचनिवास कुरु कामादि खलदल गंजनम श्री राम जय,
पवन सुत हनुमान की
जय,
जगत गुरु तम श्री कृपालु जी महाराज की
जय,
श्री भक्ति धाम की
जय,
श्री युगल कुंज की
जय,
जय जय श्री राधे,
जय
जय जय श्री राधे।